Po' Boy Special here with good friend Chris. And this video is all about...
You couldn't remember my name, could you?
No, I couldn't. We don't have name tags.
Yeah.
And so we wanted to share a video with you. We've really never done anything about knives or swords. So we wanted to take the time for you, our viewers, to show you some of the things we've collected over the years and why as far as knives and swords go. So, coming right up. Alright, the first classification we're going to get into is pocket carry or pocket knives or small knives. And what is your choice in this?
I've got several of them, and let me just start off with one. I have this old sharp pocket knife that I had back when I was in the Boy Scouts when I was really young, and I still got it. And this thing is just a workhorse of a knife. And I just wanted to share that with everybody on YouTube because, you know, these little gems from our past, you know, when you go digging through stuff to talk about a video or to reminisce over what's going on or just to think about what kind of stuff you had that you've saved up over your life, this kind of stuff is priceless because it brings back so many memories. With this little knife, I dug up worms, I cut down little trees, I made spears, you want to name it, I did everything with this little knife. And it's still just as nice as it was back then. It's a little bit dirtier, I need to clean that up a little bit, but it is one heck of a little workhorse. Now what do I carry for my everyday carry? Well, I've got a couple of different knives, and depending on the situation, but primarily my primary carry knife is this one right here. And this is a little Smith & Wesson blade. It's a little lock blade, and it's an excellent knife. It keeps a sharp edge. It's got the little serrations if you got to cut through something, and of course, on top of everything else, it's also a switchblade, and that's cool. In the state of Tennessee, this is legal. Check your state and local laws before you go off and buy yourself a switchblade.
That's right, and federal.
How about you? What do you do?
I have a couple selections here as well, and also. This came from Smoky Mountain Knife Works in East Tennessee, and it is an Army-issued Smith & Wesson, and it also is switchblade.
Nice.
That's usually what I have on me when I go out to wherever. However, in different situations, I also keep this in the vehicle with me, and this one is kind of like a Swiss Army knife knockoff. Where a Swiss Army knife everybody's familiar with, it has all kinds of neat little gadgets, but the most useful one is the little Phillips head screwdriver, and it does come in handy when you have a little pair of scissors and of course blades and can openers and whatnot. So this is a multi-tool knife that can do just a lot of little odds and ends. So it's really handy to have in a vehicle with you in case you're traveling or doing other things or Boy Scouting or whatever. So because that has a lot of different tools in it.
So is that the one that you had since you were a Boy Scout?
No, that's I've had that probably about 5 years.
Okay, okay.
And another one we picked up at Smoky Mountain Knife Works is what they call the hobo knife. And this is more for prepping and camping and survivalists. Why? Because they call it a hobo because it has the fold-out spoon and the fold-out knife.
Very cool.
That's why it has the can opener, obviously, and then the blade. Very simple, but if you want something along that realm, then that's the way to go. It also has a nice little carry handle, fit on your keychain. But
you can tell that's a little bit older because, you know, in more modern knives, they've got sporks.
That's true. That's true. Now, there is another classification for the everyday carry, and that is kind of the boot style knife. And I don't wear boots, and I don't have one. However,
I happen to right here. It's a Gerber, and this is my birthday present for this year for my brother, and I just love this knife completely. This is a very, very nice, sharp knife. I wanted a knife, and it was very specific what I wanted. I wanted a knife that was about 3 to 4 inches long. That fits that category, and that had no serrations on it. Now, why is it that I didn't want any serrations? Those little boogers are hard to sharpen.
yes, they are.
They really are. They get caught on stuff if you're just trying to do slicing instead of like really ripping through stuff. They get caught on stuff. Serrations aren't always what you're looking for out of a knife. So for this particular knife, I wanted no serrations, and it was a devil of a difficult thing to find one that didn't cost $200 to $300. But I got it anyway.
And let's go over that right now. And for what we have already presented, This hobo knife at Smoky Mountain Knife Works about 3-4 years ago, at that time was only about $5 or $6. So it wasn't expensive at all. The multi-tool, and kind of like the Swiss Army knife style, it was probably about 15. And this switchblade that's Army issued Smith & Wesson was about 30. So, I mean, we're not talking a lot of money. What about on yours?
Well, I don't have any idea how much you paid for this when you bought this for me. It's cool
A
though.
little more than that one.
Okay, but this was given to me as a gift, and so I'm not sure, but as I recall, they were $65 to $80 inside there. And this one was about a $45 knife, and I'm just, it's just a great knife. This one, back when I bought it, I think it was $5.
That was a long time ago.
That was a long time ago. That would be a little bit more than that now, but not much.
All right, so that gives you an idea of the rundown. All right, our next category is the specialty outdoors knives. And that includes hunting, fishing, and those types of activities. Now then, I've chosen two. This one is a Cutco steel, and this one is used for after killing rabbits, deers, squirrels. You skin them, process them, eat them. Delicioso.
Do you cook them in there?
You don't cook them in there. That's extra. That was
Okay.
didn't get that
Got
extra
it.
out of you. But it comes in a nice sheath and everything, but very, very good. A little pricey, but you get what you pay for on that one. The next one is your Kershaw Alaskan Blade Trader. And this one is very, very handy because it has many purposes. Comes in a nice leather sheath like this. And this one is just the regular blade. And what it does is you undo the handle like this, and the blade falls out.
Right on the iPad.
Yeah. So the blade is removable, and it has this nice little bow tie configuration in the center, and that bow tie goes here. Why? Because inside the sheath you have two more blades that are interchangeable. One is a saw that you put the little bow tie in there. Well, if I do it right. Put the little bow tie in there like that, close it back, and now you have a saw. You open that back up, let the blade fall, but not on the iPad. And now this one is your gutter and skinner. All in one. Put that on there, close it up. There you go. So now you have your gutter and skinner, saw, and blade. And this one has seen many a deer for cutting and gutting and field dressing deer. So you get all that into one, very versatile and very well, but this has a little price to it as well. So what about yours?
Well, I chose the Smith & Wesson Bullseye. Now this is a 3-in-1 package, and you don't change out the blades or anything, but it's got some very, very nice blades along with it. Now, the drawback for this is it is a little bit heavy. I mean, if you feel this, it's got some significant girth to it. That's because you're dealing with 3 different handles as well as 3 different blades. Okay, the very first one is a very, very sharp little cutting knife. It's just good for
Very nice.
skinning and cutting. This thing, it's got a thumb groove for it or a finger groove so that you can really get a grip on it and get in there and skin the animal that you've killed. And then you've got your gutter and your skinner here. And that is an invaluable tool right there. Now, I haven't taken this out and used it yet, but it's got everything that you would need to do this. And last but not least, of course, is the big dog here. And this is in case you get attacked by a rack of ribs. This truly is your cleaver. And this helps you process some meat out in the field and get those cuts that would probably be a little bit more difficult with a smaller, less weighty knife, and this does represent the bulk weight of the knives in the set, as you can see right there.
Very nice. And I'm going to ask you a very difficult question.
Oh, sure.
What are the holes for?
That's to put, that's to look through and say hi. I have no idea. I don't know what that's for.
Okay.
Yeah, he stumped me. I have no clue what that is. I know what that's for. That's for target practice. You go out with 22 Plankster, it gives you something to shoot through.
Yeah, there you go.
That must be what it is. I have no idea what those are for. If you guys know what those holes are for, I would really appreciate some information because I have no idea what those are for.
All right, next on our knives and swords list is the heavy duty ones. And the heavy duty ones include such things as machetes and things to cut down very heavy brush or twigs or small trees or whatever. I have chosen the cold steel kukri. Yes, yes. Why did I choose the kukri?
Because Mila Jovovich used it in Resident Evil to kill zombies.
Couldn't have said it better myself. And yes, I did attach the paracord to it. But anyways, this came from Smoky Mountain Knife Works in East Tennessee. Yes, we love the place. Yes, we love that place. Kudos to them. So this is where I got this cold steel, very good, very good product, very well-known name brand. Their steel is tested. Go to their website, check them out. But cold steel, very, very, very good. That's why I chose this. Very good for cutting down small trees, heavy brush. Yes, it's used. It's light enough that my son can use it, but heavy enough to get the job done. And he's cut down small trees and everything with it. So I really, really like that. Has the rubberized handle, so if your hands get sweaty or whatnot, you still got a good grip on it, it doesn't slip out. But kukri, that's my choice for not only outdoors cutting down things, but it is an apocalyptic, very good choice for zombies.
You still don't look as good as Mila Jovovich.
That's true.
With it. Now for me, I brought out three different knives for this one, three different machetes. And the first two were Gamble's, okay? And that's these two right here. Made in China specials, one from Harbor Freight, the other from Walmart. You don't know what quality you're getting till you bring them home. They are not quality. These things barely cut anything. So, we go out and spank trees with them more than we cut them down. However, they do fit under this. If you find yourself in the need to go off and get yourself a machete, you can do this. You're not gonna be happy with it. It's just not gonna be what you're gonna need in the long run. And
So you're saying they're not even sharp enough to cut a fart?
I wasn't gonna say that. I just wasn't gonna say that. Now this one we got from Smoky Mountain Knife Works. And this too was made in China, but it's a lot heavier, a lot better quality, a lot nicer of a machete in general. And this thing works. As you can tell by this thing, I don't keep my machetes very clean because when I use them. But it's a workhorse of a blade. It's got plenty of weight on it. You swing it and it chops down whatever you're aiming at. Now, my wife at the time asked me, why aren't you getting this one? And it was a much larger machete and a much larger blade. And I said, honey, because I'm not strong enough to use that thing. This does play a part in this, right? When you're choosing a machete, when you're choosing something like this, you need to make sure that it's small enough for you to use for extended periods of time if you've got extended jobs to use. And that's what I was thinking. I wasn't thinking of the one zombie I was going to have to take out. I was thinking of the 30 zombies behind him too. And if your arm gets too tired to swing your machete, you're just out of luck. So that's why I chose the one that I chose.
Let's share with you our thoughts on some specialty and collectibles. I did not bring any here to show you. I do have some collectibles. I do have my grandfather's pocket knife that he handed down to me. And when you talk about collectibles, you usually come to mind Case and Kissing Crane and those. However, we'd like to share with you one that I don't have. These are Chris's here. These are throwing knives. Tell us about those.
Well, I was in Academy Sports and I walked by and I love throwing knives. Anything that flies out of my hand and sticks in something else, I think I'm really enjoy. And I took a gamble on these. I said I really want to get a set of throwing knives. Didn't want to spend $30 or $40 on a single blade. These were $30 for 3 blades, and they are extremely nice. if you or someone that you know wants to get into throwing knives or just really enjoys it, I highly recommend these things. They're a blast to use. They are dull up until the point, which is the way you want them. You can put your finger anywhere and you don't have to worry about getting cut on either side. You don't have to worry about keeping an edge on it. It's extremely well made. They're balanced well and they stick like they're supposed to stick. It's easy to throw either flipping them over or no spin. And they just work really well. So I like those a lot.
And it comes in a really cool case too that you can carry through your belt loop, and it has a nice little Smith & Wesson logo.
Absolutely.
Really cool.
Now moving along to another collectible knife. Now this is frost cutlery, and these are your less expensive collectibles, but they're still pretty. And that's, I received this and I was going to use it as a gift. The person that I gave it to didn't want it, so I got it back, so I'm keeping it. And it's a very, very pretty knife. I don't know much use for it. It does have a nice girth to it. It keeps a good edge. It's got a nice girth to it. It's got some good weight to it, but on the flip side, it's got some weight to it. So, for my personal preference, I choose not to carry a lot of weight on me. This does have some. I don't really know a use for it. I mean, it's a beautiful knife, but it's really a showpiece more than anything else.
And that puts in a classification that we haven't discussed yet, is showpieces. Ones that you really aren't going to carry, but you're going to put on a wall or put on a coffee table or end table or whatever, just to show it off, to show people that it's really cool to look at.
Absolutely, and that's basically what that is. And that leads me into another specialty device, I guess you could call it, which is a cane sword. And I've got a couple of those here. Now, I have to point this out. I've always wanted a cane sword, always have. And when I got these, it was before I did a lot of research on cane swords. I don't think you can get any cheaper than these. I just don't think it can happen. Yeah, it's
very, very flimsy.
It's a hollow aluminum tube, and I think the blade might be made out of aluminum. I'm not really sure. It's not a good blade. If you had to defend yourself with it, it might ward off something one time before it breaks, but that might be the time that saved your life for the rest of your life. Yeah. So it may be worth it to look into for something like that. And also, it's a cane, so it can be used as a cane. These things aren't strong. They just are not strong at all.
And this you could also has one more specialty purpose for those really vicious letters to open.
I'm not sure how good of a job it would do on that. Hey, this one even has a spinning cylinder on it. Isn't that neat? So it's definitely a specialty. It's definitely a show off piece, but it's not really a quality piece that you would use to demonstrate workmanship or anything, and I don't think it's going to be around as an heirloom piece. Now that brings me into an heirloom piece, something that has been passed down to me from my grandfather after World War II, and that is an officer sword from Japan.
Awesome.
And this is an honest-to-goodness folded metal Japanese samurai sword from Japan from World War II. And these were handed out to officers. A lot of our soldiers went up against people wielding these weapons, and the man that owned this must have lost his life, or he would not have lost the sword. They kept these things. This was very dishonorable if you lost your sword. So the only way that you could keep your honor and still lose your sword is if you lost your life first. So that's probably what happened. So as you can tell, it does not have the cloud pattern on it. When I received this, it had some significant amount of rust and pits on it. I took it over to my gunsmith, Scott, and you guys have seen videos with him in there, and had him polish it down. If you looked underneath the hilt, it is blued like a gun. I actually had it blued to preserve it. Every part of it has a thin layer of oil on it now to make sure that we don't get the rusting and pitting that we had before. Yes, I did damage the monetary value of the sword by doing this, but the monetary value has really no meaning to me. I'm not getting rid of this. I'm going to pass it down to my next generation, to my children, and hopefully pass down some of the stories and some of the family tradition that was passed down to me through the sword from my grandfather. He was a brave man fighting in World War II, and this is a testimony to both the man that lost his life and the man that brought it back from Japan.
And that's very, very awesome. And these are getting very, very, very much harder to find. and they're getting rarer and rarer, and a true war piece from World War II, I mean, they're getting very hard to come by.
It's a beautiful piece, and it deserves a lot of respect from the people who have owned it throughout the years. So folks, we just wanted to share some of the knives that we had, some of the blades that we've had either new or throughout the years. We wanted to share why we bought them and get some ideas out there. Now, we are far from blade experts, we'll admit that. We expect you guys to help us out with this. So in the comments section, if you don't mind telling us what you know about the blades, telling us what you would like to see in the future, we would really appreciate it. Don't forget to
Like
and subscribe. The button will be around here somewhere, I promise you. I'll put it on the screen. But please do that if you like what you see here, and don't forget to leave comments because we really do need some help on this. The blade stuff, we have not spent nearly as much time on as we have with the firearms, so we depend on you, the experts out there, to help us out. You guys know a lot more than we do.
That's right. If you have a favorite pocket carry knife, tell us what it is and why. Or if you have a favorite hunting knife, tell us what it is and why. Or kukri or whatever kind, or even an old relic like we've shared with you from World War II. Tell us what you have and what you like. And you saw it here on the Po' Boy Special channel. Howdy! They won't get that because most people don't know who Minnie Pearl is.
No, they really don't.
Yeah, okay.
Not many people are your age.
That's true.
Yeah.
Now that he's gone, I can talk about him.
I'm the one that's editing.
Oh, now that he's gone, I'm gonna take this boot knife.
Oh my gosh.
You have to rewind.
Stop thief!
You have to rewind. And we're gonna make a video. Make a video? We're gonna make a video.
We are going to make a video.
We're gonna make a video.
Yeah.
Eventually we'll get there.
Let's start over.
Cut. There we go. And we was
We what?
Whisker Wuzzers. Whisker Wuzzers.
Maybe we should go get food before we try
this.
this.
Place drove me to drink.
I'm telling you right now. This is take 2, folks. We did an entire video before without running the camera at
It was
all.
actually pretty good too. We just went right through.
I
it.
thought so, and then we screwed up the whole thing. Okay.
All right.
Um,
Our final thoughts now. Yes, we're going to get to the point. Cut it out.
yeah, really.
How many more do I got in there?
Oh, you're on the edge, dude.
Ooh, he
know.
shoots, he scores.
Yeah, absolutely. All right.
So we just wanted to show you a couple of things that we've. Dang it!